Hello, good morning and welcome to my Suzuki. Beginning of March. I don't know if you can just see in the background, we have flurries of snow which we are told are going to turn into a bit of a beast from the east. We're set to have probably about 4 days of snow. In the background you can see 3 Jimnys and the dog. But what we are going to show you today is, I don't know if it's a hack, I don't know if it's going to be information for you. I'm going to take the bumper off a Jimny. We're going to take off, I don't know if you watched the last video where it was 2 wild winds together. Somebody came, somebody bought the first one. That's tomorrow. God willing, with the weather, it's going to be picked up and taken to Wales. The second one, somebody came, and the one that had just arrived, that's been prepped. Somebody's bought a deposit on that one. And so we're going to take the opportunity of being snowbound by preparing it and giving it the full underbody rust protection treatment. So when I say it's not really a hack, I'm going to take the bumper off. I'm going to show you how to take the bumper off. If you don't know how to take the bumper off, I'm going to take it off in a way that is a little bit easier than the first time I ever took a bumper off. And sometimes it's little things that make things easier, and you think, wow, didn't know about that. I didn't know about that. Worked it out probably the second or third time I ever took a bumper off, and I thought, wow, that is so much easier. So, and I'll explain as we go. Okay, so this is the car we're working on. This is one of the 2 cars that featured in the last video where there were 2 wild winds next to each other. It's a 2009 Jimny Sierra Wild Wind pearlescent white, and it has a new owner. It's got a deposit on it, and we're going to do a full underbody treatment. We're going to take the bumpers off front and rear, and we're going to put a head unit in. Over into your left, and I reiterate this every video. Somebody asked me this morning, I sent some photos of, we did an underbody treatment to a car. He's getting his car in about 2 weeks' time because of one thing or another. His main concern was, they are not my wheels and they're not my tyres. No, they're not. They are a set of old Jimny wheels that we swap out, and we're going to do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to lift the car up, we're going to swap the wheels out, bumpers off the front, bumpers off the rear, all the inner arches are going to come out, and then we're going to give it a full-on jet wash. Big old clean underneath, sit it to dry. While it's drying, we'll fit the head unit, and maybe we may film the we might film the masking, we might film the front bumper. We're not sure yet. We're definitely going to do the rear bumper because it's something I want to show you that I thought, wow. And everybody, it might be one of those things that everybody says, yeah, we all knew about that, but you never know. So we are going to start with the wheel cover. Special edition Wild Wind wheel cover, GRP. This you are going to see just as we see it. It's going to look a little bit, how would I put it? Probably a bit dusty, probably a bit grimy. Not the prettiest, but they very rarely use a spare wheel. Never ever see it. If you look at that wheel there, this is a brand new wheel, and I don't know if you can see that. A little bit of a rub there. It's dust. Normally the wheel cover, and again it's something that I would say stop using them. Normally the wheel cover corrodes, and we refurbish that. There's about 3 things on a Jimny that corrodes no matter where in the world it is, and they are, well, I'm just trying to look for what I'm looking for on the keys. The 3 things that do corrode on a Jimny, no matter where they are in the world, because these Jimnys come in and they're absolutely spotless underneath. The wheel carrier corrodes, the battery clamp corrodes, when I say corrodes, it gets a bit ugly, gets a little bit of surface rust on it. It doesn't really corrode. They've all got locking wheel nut. And the wipers, if I was in charge of Suzuki, I would be getting, that's from a different car. Yep, that was, had some wheels off a Fiat 500 yesterday, so that was a 17. Usually a 19 lives on this. Yeah, so if I was in charge of Suzuki, I would be getting in touch with the people who supply both the wheel carrier and the battery clamp, and I'd be asking why they're making out materials that are so shoddy. But that's just how it is. I'm guessing so. This comes off together, one piece, and then the back, whip the back off. Wheel cover goes to be cleaned, and hopefully you can see it. It's pretty much an absolutely brand new wheel. That's just a bit grubby. So's the tyre. Brand spanking new tyre, never ever been used. Always Yokohama Gia Landers from new. Quite often they swap them out. If they do swap them out and don't put Gia Landers back on, they quite often use Bridgestone. And this is the reason this comes off, because you can't clean that, you can't clean it, you can't polish it if you don't remove it. So for this one, it's a little bit of an intricate one, and I leave this on all the time because it's just right. There we go. As ugly as that looks, it won't. It's just, I'm not going to rub it. I'm not going to rub it because when you rub paintwork that's dirty, it's like a mild abrasive. So we're going to clean it gently. That's the wheel carrier. We'll refurbish that. We will sand it down. It's not corroded. It's just a lump of iron with some surface rust on. We will put some etch primer on it and give it a good clean. However, onto the theme of the video. That's just a warm-up appetizer. So, first thing we've got to do is start taking things off. And what you really need is a suitable container so that you don't lose the things you need. Now, you're not going to be able to see this. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Now, I'm undoing the rear lights. Now we're going to take off the upper lenses, simply because we're going to take the Dinitrol treatment up to an include behind here, so it comes all the way up here. It will go right up to the arch. It will be absolutely everywhere. I'll explain a little bit more as we go along. Lights just pull out. Reason why the lights need to come out is because just because there's a bolt behind there. Two reasons. There's a bolt behind there to get the bumper off, but we need to take the lenses off so we can continue with the underbody treatment a little bit higher up. This one's always a bit of a weird one. It just wants to pull off, and it's just sneaks around the back there. One thing we do as well, always, take off the lenses, put the lenses somewhere safe. The last thing you want to do is take your lenses off, drop them on the floor, smash them to pieces, and take the bulbs out. Take the bulbs out because they're fragile. For washing it off, I generally usually use a dog poo bag around the electrics. And as you can see in there again, don't take these off. You can't clean this. You can't clean this. It's just a bit, and it's just dust. It's just years and years of dust. But you need to get it off. It needs to come off. Right, so to actually get the bumper off, we've got 3 bolts there. There's the bolts there. We've got one underneath there, and we've got one either side underneath. The ones which are underneath the arch are easier to get to if the wheel's off. So I'm going to jack this side up. You might think, God, that was a coincidence where the jack was, but I put it there in anticipation of getting down. Now we're going to put an axle stand under because, and this will become apparent very, very shortly, because I am going to briefly go under there. There we go. And I'm going to leave the jack under. I'm going to just drop it slightly onto the stand, so the stand takes the weight. Jack's got the weight as well. Good old Jack, always there to lend a hand. And then we're going to whip these wheels off. In Japan, very, very uncommon to see locking wheel nuts because they don't really steal each other's wheels. It's just, it would be a bit optimistic, think there was no crime in Japan. Obviously there's going to be some crime here and there, but in general, no. They're a very honest people. And there we've got some really good tread on Yokohama Geolander AT. So the one that came off was an HT. The AT's a little bit more aggressive, all-terrain tyre. Okay, so let's have a look. We are going to start with this one. And these bolts have they're identifiable. They've got a little shoulder on, if you look at them. Super nice condition. If there's going to be any confusion, keep all your bolts separate, but these are all the ones that secure the bumper are all pretty much the same. And very, very shortly I will tell you how I used to take, or how I did originally take the bumper off, and why this is slightly different. When we do that, we'll have to slightly change the camera angle. Can I get it from there? Yeah. Easier with the wheel off, doable just with the wheel on, or you can use a ratchet spanner. Now, just for lying on the floor, I've got the dog blanket. It's not really a dog blanket, it's a blanket. Anytime my partner throws anything out, it comes in here until it's no longer usable. Right, so we have that's that one. Because this one's underneath, it's just nope. See if this one can snap off. Oh, it didn't snap, there's no snappage. Oh. Oh. So, just popped out to put my gloves on before it's too late. There we go. Right, so we have pretty much all the fastenings off. Now the bumper will pull off now. However, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it off here and show you what we're doing. As you may have noticed, a tip is take both of the ones off on the wheel arch instead of just one of them. So, gloves were off for pulling the grommet out because it's just, some things are just easier with your bare hands. And that's one of them. So now, it's just a case of that unclips from that side. This unclips from this side. Okay. Open the door. And it's off. It's off, and here is, well, I'm going to explain what I did the first time I ever took a bumper off. That was still attached to the car. I eased it off, undid that, undid that, undid that, unclipped that, undid that, unclip that, and did I pull that through? Come on, done. Yeah, I pulled that through. Obviously it undid the lens on the other side, pulled that through. So all the loom was off, the bumper was separate, and the loom was just hanging. I think I did that a couple of times and I thought, this is way too difficult. Then I had a really good look at it, and I'll show you what prompted me to realise that that was an option. And here we have a rubber flap behind which gives you access to the connectors and to the grommet that runs through to the underneath where the loom goes onto the bumper and feeds the lights and the number plate lights. And we will wash the cavity, mask off the connectors, inject and spray into the cavity. Give it a really good, it's just a couple of presters there, that will come off. One thing to notice, there you go, look. There's your bumperless car. One thing you will notice is pretty much a brand new exhaust. Look at the bolts on that exhaust. Brand new exhaust, and often it's a matter of pride in Japan that if something needs doing, they'll do it before they sell it. So the new owner for this has got quite a good exhaust system, which will last forever. Well, no, it'll last a while.